Hello and welcome to everyone across the nation joining today's workshop on how to administer tests. This is Martha Perez with the CASAS Technology Support Team, and I will be presenting today's workshop. This workshop focuses on using CASAS e-tests online to administer web-based tests to different types of students using different test series, forms, and modalities with the same computer. A certified proctor performed these steps in combination with administering tests. This is one of 23 complimentary CASAS Online Implementation Basics workshops. We highly recommend attending as many workshops as possible to learn about best practices and ask questions to become confident in using the online system. Online help is available on our website from training and support, for e-test online help, and TOPS Pro Enterprise. You will want to be sure and bookmark these as your electronic go-to resources. Electronic resources are updated periodically, so going to them will help to ensure you are receiving the most current information. Information for today's workshop comes from e-test online help in the e-test online guide. The guide has hyperlinks throughout to help you move quickly between sections. For example, I will click on section 4.3, Administering Tests. Again, you will want to bookmark electronic resources and search keywords to pinpoint specific information when you need help. Before we get started, I want to be sure and point out where you will find access to CASAS eTests Online and TOPS Pro Enterprise Online. Notice this URL right here. This is the main domain name address you will use when your agency is set up with an online database. This is commonly referred to as the production server, where live data is produced. For today's workshop, we will be using a simulation server for a fictional school called Rolling Hills Adult School. Okay. Now, the simulation server is populated with fictional data to give you a realistic training experience. This is available to anyone wanting to experiment and explore our online system without risk of compromising live data. Now, you will find information on how to access a simulation server from our training and support, e-tests online help, getting started, and download the simulation server document. Now, administering tests or CASAS web-based tests requires the same testing code of ethics, adherence to test security, and proctoring tasks as when administering paper-based tests. Before going live, we encourage all staff involved with online implementation to access the simulation server and test drive CASAS eTests Online as a dry run of the testing environment to ensure 1. System compatibility, and 2. Facility verification. In other words, is the site where you plan to use CASAS eTests Online set up in your online database? And second, are computers registered at the site? Use the simulation server to role-play the testing process so that 1. Staff are prepared for live testing, and 2. No technical issues prevent tests from being delivered. This may involve firewall and audio settings and any security threat to the secure browser during test administration. Test administration only takes place on a registered testing station. If you participated in the Managing Sessions workshop, hopefully you understand that proctors must first start a session before test administration can take place on a testing station. This is a security feature. Before going live, proctors should understand these 4 basic steps. Number 1, sign in to the management console. Number 2, start these testing sessions. Number 3, administer tests on registered computers. And number 4, stop your testing sessions. Each step represents test security built into using CASAS e-tests online. Now, proctors must complete certification to administer CASAS web-based tests. All proctors must do their part to maintain a controlled testing environment that will allow test takers to perform to the very best of their abilities. Proctors should follow the same procedures before, during, and after conducting testing sessions. Following these procedures assures the validity of test results and reduces the likelihood of confusion or error during test administration. We recommend that you provide Section 4 from the online user guide to all proctors for test administration directions and guidelines. A common mistake first-time online proctors make is attempting to administer a test before starting sessions. Starting a testing session is similar to passing out test booklets in a paper-based world. If you forget to start the session, then in a sense, you forgot to pass out test booklets. Now here's an example of what happens at the testing station when you forget to start a session. At the testing station, proctors launch the web browser, which I am pointing out right here, etestsonline.org. In this case, we are using the simulation server, so we need to add Rolling Hills and another slash at the end. From the main domain web page, click Administer Tests. You are prompted to run the CASAS tests.exe file, which is an executable file, to connect with the online server, and download the test delivery system and secure browser application into the temporary memory on the local computer so that test administration will take place. Only registered testing stations are recognized by the online system and validated by the agency to deliver CASAS web-based tests. Once run, the application displays refresh when the proctor has yet to start a session and/or add the station to session already started or is active. This is a test security feature. In either case, the refresh button is displayed in place of an ID input field. This is a test security feature. A message above the refresh button notifies the student to please wait for your session to start. Because starting a session and adding the station both are reasons why refresh will display, we are changing this message to instead read, please wait for your proctor to start the session or add your station to an active session. Okay. Now, so the first step for online proctors to remember when administering tests is to sign in to the management console where they manage sessions while administering tests. To access, launch the web browser, etestsonline.org, and for demonstration, we are using the Rolling Hills simulation server. From the main domain web page, click Sign In. The proctor must enter his user credentials. Okay, let's give it a few moments. There we go. Now this proctor should enter his user credentials. The agency or site ID is assigned or issued by CASAS. For the simulation server, enter 4908. The username is issued by the agency. We recommend the email address used for certification. For the simulation server, enter a generic user account for coordinators or proctors. Use a number from 1 to 50 after the word proctor, and then enter the word proctor, all lowercase, for password. In this case, I've used proctor23@rhas.org. Now, a temporary password is initially issued by the agency. Temporary passwords should be changed after first accessing the online system. Now, for the simulation server, use the word proctor, all lowercase, for all proctor accounts. After entering user credentials, click Login. Now, the second step to administering tests is to start sessions you plan to use. From Application Management, click Testing Sessions. Now, a list of testing sessions available in the current program year displays. This list is commonly referred to as a testing sessions lister. By default, the list is filtered by available sessions in the current program year and by site, and then by session name. Each of these columns is clickable to change the sort order. Because the list of testing sessions may grow over time, proctors should be trained that after sign-in, they should filter the testing sessions list to search for sessions that are only available at the site and in the lab where they will administer tests. To do this, direct proctors to click the drop-down arrow and expand the filter at top of the testing sessions list to search for and minimize the list of sessions displayed. For example, if a proctor is assigned to conduct intake at the North Campus, from Filter, click the drop-down in the Site field and select North Campus. In the Description field, click the drop-down menu, select Starts With, and then enter Intake, and then click Refresh. A filtered list of 3 intake sessions at North Campus now displays in the list of testing sessions. Collapse the filter by clicking the filter arrow. Now, you have a minimized list of sessions displayed that the proctor will manage while administering tests. Let's say we are planning to proctor intake at North Campus. Click Start for the Intake, Locator plus Pretest session. Proctors will acknowledge their responsibilities and duties throughout the duration of the testing session. Now, using the drop-down menu, they will also specify the maximum supervisory hours they are assigned or scheduled to proctor testing. And then click Start. After starting the session, a session activity window displays for the proctor to manage the active session. At bottom right of the session activity window are options to filter stations in the session and add stations at bottom left. From the pop-up window, check stations. In this case, I'm checking my station and say Add to add them to the session. Based on recommended best practices, don't assign stations when creating sessions. Instead, use stations on an ad hoc basis to give you maximum flexibility of using any station at any time for any testing purpose. Columns in the session activity list display stations, the stations that are added to the session, students logged in or logged on to the station, the test form presented to the student, when the test has started, how much time remains, the number of questions answered, when the student last responded, and class ID if assigned to the test record. To start the remaining intake sessions, return to the testing sessions list at top right, click the back link. Notice that right in the testing sessions lister displays the proctor, who started the session, and the status of sessions. All user activity is tracked and logged in the online system. Session status may be inactive, active, suspended, or expired. At left in the testing sessions lister are buttons to manage your sessions. Now, notice after we started the locator session that the start changed to manage and view became active. Proctors use the view button to return to the session activity window from the testing sessions list when monitoring sessions. Now let's click the back link at top right and return to the testing sessions lister. Generally, proctors manage sessions from the testing sessions lister when supervising more than one session at a time. Proctors may have multiple sessions running simultaneously in the same lab. Repeat steps to start remaining intake sessions. Click Start, acknowledge the responsibilities and duties, set maximum hours, and click Start to start the session. Let's go and use the back link and repeat. The testing sessions list should now display the logged on proctor and the active status for all 3 intake sessions. Now we are on the step 3 to administer a test. When a station is added to an active session, the ID input field displays on the testing station screen. Identification may be entered with numeric, alpha, or alphanumeric characters. An identification code is issued by the agency and not auto-assigned by the online system, or CASAS. Now let's enter identification. And click Continue. Student enters their first name, okay. Now, middle name is optional. We recommend having students enter a middle name initial for data integrity. Last name is required, and then click the forward arrow to continue. Students are presented with a review page after entering their identification. Other data collection screens are generally presented before students begin testing, but we disabled them for now because we will cover these in the Registering Students workshop. Click Save to continue. The test menu screen displays after identification is entered. Along the top, displays information about the agency, site, lab, date and time. This is the station, date and time, and the student information. An update link to change or correct information about the student. The top half of the test menu displays practice tests, and the bottom half of the test menu displays modality buttons in reading, math, and listening for locators, appraisal, pre and post tests. Giving students the opportunity to practice before taking a test is strongly recommended. Practice tests help introduce students to how tests are delivered, how to navigate through a test, and how to respond to test items. If you plan on using a practice-only session at your agency, then practice tests may be hidden from the test menu for pre- and post-testing sessions. The first test a student will take is a short appraisal known as a locator to determine and present an appropriate level pretest in the same sitting. This testing session is configured to deliver a locator and pretest per modality. Students are then placed in a program and level based on pretest scores. To administer a test, click Reading Test. The student is presented with information for the test they are about to begin, such as reading or form, how many questions will be presented, and directions to the test. Click the Next button to begin. At top left of the test screen is the retractable toolbar students may unpin and pin during their testing. At top left and at top right, students may increase the screen display from the toolbar. Okay. All test items display at the left, and all answers are displayed at the right. Now check an answer box in the box or along the bar at the right. This is in order to apply a response to a test item. Now click the forward arrow to continue. If students have trouble navigating with the mouse, they use the up or down arrow keys in your keyboard to choose an answer. Use the space bar, to respond, or use it again to clear the box or to clear your answer. We're going to choose C, space bar, and then use your enter key on the keyboard to continue. And you can continue. I will continue selecting random answers. If students have trouble using the mouse or keyboard, having at least one computer in your lab that is equipped with touchscreen technology is strongly recommended. The I don't know button is recommended on locators to allow students to skip a test item without responding. After the locator ends, the student is presented with the pre-test. Information about the test is displayed. The difference with a standardized fixed form test is that the students may return to a previous test item and review items at the end of reading and math tests. Listening tests do not allow students to return to or review test items. Now click Next to begin the test. All standardized fixed forms include practice items to introduce students to the type of items that will be presented. I will continue quickly for several items and then pause halfway so I can show you the session activity window. Okay, now I will return back to my session activity window. And for that, I will click on the View button for the session that I have started. As you can see the student who logged in, the status, the test form she is currently at or taking, the test start, when started, how much time she's got left, how many questions she has responded, and when was the last response applied. Okay, I will continue to go back to my test and go through it rather quickly to present the final screen. Okay. Now this is the review page. This will tell you or will give you the opportunity to return back to the test, either if you responded incorrectly or you remember you wanted to change your response. You can click in an individual test item and return back to the item. And let's say I wanted to change this answer for C, and then I can either use the back arrow or the forward arrow to skip to the next item or the last item, or I can simply click on the review button again to go to the last page. Okay. When the student is finished testing, it is important for the student to log out at top right. So in this case, I will finish the test first. And this is the personal score report. This normally is presented to the student right after the test has ended. It will give you a it will give you a description about the level that the student is at. Will definitely give you this form number, the date the student tested, and their student ID. Click the forward arrow. Now to exit, click the exit link. Let's log out first. And then click the exit link at top right of each testing station to close the testing application. Now, first-time online proctors tend to forget they must also stop sessions. When this happens, the session status will automatically suspend. However, forgetting to stop sessions is not good practice because the session will remain active even after testing is finished and before the session suspends or times out. Therefore, stopping sessions when testing is finished is equally important for test security and similar to collecting test booklets after testing is finished in a paper-based world. Each proctor is responsible for managing sessions and stations registered in the lab where they are administering tests. It is not appropriate for proctors to use or manage stations from other labs. From the Management Console, we're going to click Manage and stop the session. You may need to refresh the testing sessions list if needed, and then click Manage to stop our remaining sessions. Since we're finished working in the eTest Management Console, click the back link on your upper right corner of the screen to return to the main menu. Then, click the Logout link at top right. This returns you to the login screen. However, you are not completely disconnected from the server. For security, exit the application at top left. Click the web browser back arrow. Now you are completely disconnected from the server and return to the main domain web page where you started. Congratulations! Each workshop in a set of CASAS Online implementation basics builds on the last in a logical progression for helping you get up and running with the online system. If you miss a workshop, we posted a playlist from past recordings so that you may review a previously attended workshop or preview upcoming workshops. You may access them from Training and Support, eTest Online Help, CASAS Online Implementation Basics, and access them and others from our social media newsroom from our YouTube channel. Please note this information about our technology support team. The support team is available to provide any technical assistance you may need to ensure successful implementation. This email address alerts a support team that includes several members. Communicating to the larger group will help us to ensure you receive a timely response. Team members are available from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Time, Monday through Friday. We look forward to you joining us for the next workshop on how to interrupt tests in progress. Thank you for your time, and this concludes the workshop on how to administer tests.